Another week for the Philadelphia Eagles, another win. The Eagles taking down the Pittsburgh Steelers in this Pennsylvania State rivalry game by a final score of 35-13. The Birds are 7-0 for the second time in franchise history, going all the way back to 2004. That's the last time that they started a season 7-0. And during that year, we all remember, Philadelphia Eagles went all the way to the Super Bowl before falling to the New England Patriots. Could this season end up a lot like that? Well, the Philadelphia Eagles look very, very good and very, very strong in the early going this year. So let's talk about this victory, because really from the jump of this game, it was dominant for Philadelphia. Final score 35-13, and Jalen Hurts really stole the show, especially in that first half as he hooked up with A.J. Brown for a hat trick. 3 touchdowns between both of them in the first half alone, and all of them dots. He was able to find keyholes with those throws. So accurate, just dropping it right in the bucket as the Eagles have their best wide receiving option and the most dominant position and guy at that spot since going back to Terrell Owens. And we're going to really break this game down first, though. Just an injury note on Jordan Davis. He left the game with an ankle injury. We don't know anything other than that. He was carted off, and a trainer was holding his right cleat when he came out to the medical tent. So let's hope that the rookie first-round pick out of Georgia is going to be okay, because he's really starting to get more playing time and more reps, and with that, he's been very, very critical to the success of this Eagles ground game, but also displaying some ability in the pass rush as well. So let's hope that Jordan Davis is okay with that foot injury, and it's something like, you know, an ankle sprain or something like that, as Jordan Davis was carted off the field. All right, more news and notes to get to with this football game. Jalen Hurts had a great first half, and one of my keys to this game was Philadelphia putting together 60 minutes of offensive football. We knew, it was well documented going in, that in the second quarter, they had scored the most points in that frame than any other team in any other quarter in the first 6 games of a season in NFL history. I just wanted to see Philadelphia play a full football game, and that's what the Birds did. And in that first half, they were able to put their foot on the gas really from the jump, just a couple of dimes to A.J. Brown, and they have a combined cap hit of $7.2 million in 2022. That is the genius of Howie Roseman. The fact that he's been able to build this roster, make it deep in several areas, and then bring in elite players like an A.J. Brown, which makes the offense better. Most importantly, though, makes a very important asset in Jalen Hurts more comfortable and just a better overall football player. Hurts ended the day, because Gardner-Minshew came in early in the fourth quarter, 19-28, 285 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, which is a career high, and a passer rating of 140.6. Now, we're going to continue to talk about this football game, and the Birds being 7-0 obviously has Philadelphia lit and excited. First, though, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Our watch party, once again, was fantastic. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. But if you want videos every single day on the Philadelphia Eagles, just hit that subscribe button down below and lock us in for informative and entertaining news, rumors, live shows, watch parties, and analysis. As for A.J. Brown, got to talk about him because he did have 3 touchdowns, nearly a 4th, on another dot of a throw from Jalen Hurts. He is the closest thing that the Eagles have had at wide receiver since Terrell Owens. And that's not a knock on guys like Deshaun Jackson. It's not a knock on guys like Alshon Jeffrey. But we saw it on one of those routes where he caught the ball on the right seam, stopped on a dime, and then went out left and picked up a huge gainer to get the Eagles inside the red zone, which then led to Miles Sanders' touchdown run. He was solid in the first half, and then in the second half, Sanders started to get going a little bit. 9 carries, 78 yards, and a touchdown. That'll help out a lot of your fantasy squads. But from a physical standpoint, from an explosion standpoint, A.J. Brown just coming down with those 50-50 balls, and Jalen Hurts being confident in him. He's the best wide receiver that this team has had since Terrell Owens. And he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And that Hurts to A.J. Brown connection really is Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens-esque. I was at the 2004 NFC Championship game, which Terrell Owens didn't play. But I was also at that season opener when T.O. was on the field against the New York Giants, rocking those white Eagles unis. And you could just tell that the offense had a spark, that the offense had more swagger, that the offense was more explosive. And you get that same type of feeling when you watch the Eagles with A.J. Brown. And then continuing to move forward with the offense, right? The play design in the pass game really is stellar. And that's a credit to Nick Sirianni. It's also a credit to Shane Steichen, who I think is going to get some head coaching interviews after the year. Hurts, as a quarterback, doesn't really go through many progressions like a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, where he drops back and he goes and scans the field through all of his progressions. A lot of it, or some of it, is predetermined. But the benefit and the strength and the beauty of this Eagles offense is a lot of guys with the intersection of routes, with the design, with the pre-snap motion, run open and they run wild, and because of that, they run free. The Zach Pascal touchdown is a perfect example of that, where he starts on the inside left slot, goes out to the left, and he's wide open for a touchdown. The A.J. Brown play that I talked about, in which he stopped and started on a dime, was a great example of that too, because him and Devontae Smith lined up on the left side right next to each other, and then they kind of, intertwine there. And for a defense, it's very hard to stop because of the disguise that we see. You combine that with the offensive line as well as the ground game, and that's why this Eagles offense has been this good. As for the defense, we have to talk about the defense. A mind-blowing stat. Through 7 games now, with the Birds still perfect with that record, you know what a winning formula is? When you play a clean slate of football, you don't turn the football over, but then you force turnovers defensively. The Philadelphia Eagles, folks, are plus 14 in turnover differential. And you can tell me that they played a weak schedule. In fact, look, I actually think they have a couple of quality wins on the schedule, but it's the dominance that we've seen. It's the team being well coached. It's the execution that has really been flawless for this football team, and they have to deserve and receive credit for that and taking advantage of who's on their schedule, because this team has been dominant in a couple of areas. As for James Bradberry, he's been awesome. The fact that Howie Roseman brought him in for a 1-year, $10 million deal is crazy, because James Bradberry has been one of the best lockdown corners in the NFL. He signed that 1-year deal. He's going to earn himself a lot of money in free agency. He has earned cornerback #1 money. I'm not sure if he wants to stay here because he's had so much success here and the Eagles are winning, but if he wants to go get the bag, he's going to be able to go get the bag. A question for the homies before we take a couple of your questions. Grade the Birds' performance today. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section right now what you think of how the Eagles did today. I'm seeing Angela in the chat. Who do you think is the best player on the Eagles? Well, today it was A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. But the thing about this team is that everybody shows up, and a different guy shows up every single week. And that's why this team is 7-0 and just cooking right now. Nick Walker, when do you think the first loss will be? I'm not even sure at this point. The Eagles' schedule is pretty easy. They should not lose this Thursday against the Houston Texans. Then they play the Commanders, Colts, Packers, Titans, Giants. Will be a difficult game. They play the Seahawks today, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, and Giants. That's how the rest of the season works out. I don't think they're going to go undefeated, but I think they have an opportunity to get the #1 seed in the NFC. And that right there is pretty incredible. Caden Shirley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Bradberry, those pickups were the best moves by Howie. C.J. Gardner-Johnson had another interception today, and James Bradberry had multiple pass breakups. And the defensive line was able to get after Kenny Pickett. Multiple guys were able to get home. Fletcher Cox had a good game. Hassan Reddick, Jordan Davis before he got injured. Javon Hargrave was also really good. Eagles defensive line was getting after it. We're about to wrap up our post-game show. First, though, type fly, Eagles fly, for another Philadelphia Eagles victory. To everybody who tuned into our post-game show and our watch party, we greatly appreciate that. Fly, Eagles, fly. We'll catch you next time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all the love.